all, my name is Hitesh Damani and welcome to my YouTube channel. So guys, today I'm back with a good conceptual problem. And in this problem, we have to find the churn rate for each year and we have to do a year over year comparison of that churn rate. These kind of problem statements are actual and a real life problems. So make sure you watch the video till end to learn something new. And please subscribe to my channel if not already done yet. So guys, same problem I have already solved using SQL. So, and the link of that particular solution is available in the description below. You guys can take a look at that as well. And those who have already watched that particular video, I would recommend you can skip the introductory part of this and you can directly jump to the solution part of this particular problem. So yeah, without wasting any time, let's get started. So over here, as you can see, I have already imported like the required libraries, which is like NumPy and Pandas to solve this particular problem. I have imported the CSV file as well. Link of the CSV file is already available in the description as well. You guys can take a download for that and you guys can practice that by your own. So let me just quickly explain you this particular data set and then we will quickly deep dive into the problem and the solution of that, like the same problem. So over here, as we can see, basically we are having start date, end date, and yearly salary of a particular organization's driver, right? So basically we are having like drivers who are like joining that particular org, and like we are having the joining date as well. Along with that, we are having the leaving date as well, right? So we have to basically figure out the churn rate like for a specific year, right? So year over year, we have to basically figure out or find the churn rate, right? So now what is churn rate basically? Churn rate is nothing but, let's say if a particular like customer is, or if a particular driver in this case is leaving a org, right? That means basically that that driver is getting churned, right? So for a specific year, we have to first of all calculate the churn, like number of churns for a particular year, and then we have to compare that particular churn with the previous year, and then we have to basically like flag it out whether the churn rate for a specific year was like is increased, decreased, or there is no change basically, right? So can I say this thing? Since we have date time like value available over here, and we have to like provide output in the form of year, right? So can I say this thing from this date? I will be able to figure out what is the year of this particular date, right? And from that, I will be able to provide the output on a yearly basis, right? So for that, what I will do, first of all, let me just quickly check what is the data type for all these columns. So for that, I'm using df.d types, right? And as we can see, like both of the date columns are in object format, right? So in order to basically get year from date, we have to first of all convert these to date time format, right? For that, I'm using df and I will use end date over here, right? And I will basically convert this. I will use pd.to underscore date time to convert this, right? And yeah, now you guys might be having a question like why I am using just end date and not a start date, right? Because as I've mentioned, churn rate is nothing but basically when a customer is leaving that org, that customer is getting churned, right? So wherever the end date is available, those customers are not a part of a organization, right? So like wherever there are like end date available, we have to basically take that into consideration, right? So that's why I'm taking end date over here, right? And now since like basically this end date will get converted to date time, what we will do, we will basically convert this to year, right? For that, I'm using the same variable and I will use dot dt dot year, right? So now if I will print data frame, so as you can see, let me just do head 10 for now. Yeah. So as you can see, basically we got 2018 over here, right? Now what we have to do, we have to like now do a count of all the values from end date, right? Because all the records who has end date, that means like that particular driver or that particular customer had left the organization, right? So for that, what I'm doing over here is I will use again df dot end date. Let me just copy it from here, right? And on this, I will do value underscore counts. So value underscore count, let me just run this and will show you what it does. So it will basically calculate, or it will count all the records from this particular column, right? So this is just counting like number of records, right? And as we can see, basically at a yearly level, we got count of records, right? Now, can I say this thing? The order of these are not in a proper like manner, right? So for that, I will use sort underscore index to make it to make the order properly, right? Let me just run this once again. So as you can see, we got like 2015, 16, 17, and 18, right? And since to make this in a tabular format, I will use reset underscore index, right? Which will basically make this in a tabular format, right? Now let me just store this in a variable. So I will use churns per year, right? 1 second, chur. Okay. So I will use churns per year and I will store this value in churns per year, right? Now, basically what I will do, let me just run this once again. So as we can see, like this particular column is index, right? And over here we are having end date, right? But basically this is nothing but churn count and this is year, right? So we have to like now rename these columns. So for that, I am using the same variable and I will use dot columns is equal to first column value should be year and second column value should be churn count, right? Let me run this. Let me run this once again. Yeah, so as you can see, we are having year and churn count, right? Now, what we have to do, uh, like basically till this, we have solved first set of problem, right? So basically what we have to do in this, we have to do a comparison of number of churns on a year over year basis, right? So this churn count, which we are having over here, this is for current year, right? So in 2015, like we have like 5 number of churns, 2016 there are like 5 number of churns again, 2017 8, and so on, right? Now since we have to do year over year comparison, so what we have to do over here is we have to basically convert like compare this year with previous year, right? Similarly this year with previous year, right? So for that we have to like can I say this thing, if I will get this value, this 5 over here, similarly this 5 over here, this 8 over here, and this 25 over here, I will be able to do that comparison, right? So for that, what I am going to do over here is I will do a comparison with like current year and previous year, right? So for that, let me just show you how we will be able to do. So I'm using this variable, right? I will take both of these columns. Let me just copy this. Okay. So I will take both of these columns, and in order to select the column, I'm providing this in the form of list, right? I'm taking a copy of this particular like variable over here, and I will provide like store it in previous year's churn, right? So I will use previous year churn, right? And I'm storing this particular like I like basically we are doing nothing over here. We are just copying this value and we are storing it in a new variable, right? I will tell you like why we are doing that in a couple of like seconds. Over here, what we have to do now, we have to basically take year, just year from this, right? And what we have to do, we have to add 1 into the year. So we are basically incrementing year with 1, right? So what will happen over here? Let's say for 2016, let's take an example for 2016. So let's say if I'm in 2016, so what it will do, it will basically get 2016 over here. It will add 1 into that, right? And it will become 2017, right? So basically for 2017, my previous year is 2016, right? So basically it will attach value of 2016 over here and I will get 5 beside 8, right? So and since like for current year I'm getting values available over here, so like that will remain as is, right? Now what we have to do, we have to again change the column names, right? Because over here the column name is churn count, right? But for this, like the column name which we are getting over here, for that it should be a previous year churn count, right? So for that I'm using the same code over here. I will basically give previous year churn, right? And for that, year should be fine, and churn count should be previous year churn count. So I will use previous year churn, right? Now let me just run this and we'll show you what will be our output. So as you can see, for 2016 we have 5, 2017 it's 5, 2018 it's 8, right? So for 2018, as we can see, it's 8, 2017 it's 5, 2016 it's 5 again, right? Now, can I say this thing? If I will join these two data frames, I will be able to get this previous year churn count over here, right? For that, what I'm doing over here is I will use pd.merge, right? For this, I will use churn per year, right? And for this, I will use previous year churn. Okay, I am merging it on year, right? And I will do how is equal to inner, right? I mean, it should be left join actually, because this is my original table. If I will do inner, I will lose this particular information, right? So it should be left join. Okay. So let me just run this. Let's store this in some variable, right? So we can use churns per year, right? Let me just run this and we'll show you what will be our output. So yeah. So as we can see, we got churn count, which is for current year. We got previous year churn count as well, and we are having year as well over here, right? Now, over here, as we can see, basically we are having this NA, right? So let's fill this NA. So for filling NA values in Python, we use dot fill NA method, right? And we have to by default give the value as well. So basically it should be 0, right? And I'm using in place as well because I have to make that change in the it's true. Okay, so basically I have to make that change in the like same variable. So for that I'm using in place is equal to true, right? Now let's run this once again. Yeah, so as you can see, we got this 0 over here. Let me just check the data type of this, and then probably we will create the flag, which is like basically we have to do the comparison, right? So we have, for comparison, we have to create the flag, right? So let me just check data type. Okay, so for churn count, it's int. For previous year churn count, it's float, right? So since like for churn count, it's int, and for previous year churn count, it's float. So let's convert previous year churn count as like int basically, right? Let me just convert this churns per year. Churns per year, I will take churn count uh, dot as type, and I will take int, right? So both of the like columns, like churn count and previous year churn count, I'm converting it into it, right? So let's store it back to the same variable, right? Similarly, we will use previous year churn count, and we will change the data type of that as well. So like both of these got converted to int 32. We will be able to easily do the comparison between that, right? Now what we have to do as part of the like problem statement, we have to compare both the years churns, and we have to create a flag of increase, decrease, and no change, right? So wherever basically we are getting a higher churn rate in current year, we have to basically say increase. Wherever it's lower, we have to say decrease. Wherever it's like equal, we have to say no change, right? So now in order to basically create that flag, I'm using numpy library. We are having from numpy library, we are having np.where. So basically I'm using that in order to create the flag. Let me just show you how we will be able to use that. So for that, I'm using same variable, and I will basically provide this as a new column as change, right? I will use np dot where, right? This is basically nothing but a if else condition, right? So np dot where, we have to take churns per year churn count. So if churn count is greater than, so if churn count is greater than previous year's churn count, okay. So if churn count is greater than previous year churn count, so what we will say? We will say increase, right? Okay. Let's say np dot where, again we will use np dot where. So basically, if churn rate is less than previous year churn count, which means it's decrease, right? So I'm copying the same line of code once again, and we have to change this to decrease. So basically, if churn count is lesser than previous year like churn count, it means it's decrease, right? Similarly, if both of them will be equal, which means no change, right? So basically, this piece of code is if, this piece of code is else, right? Or like if else, right? And let's say if like both of the conditions will not satisfy, so we have to basically provide no change, right? So for that, I'm using no change, and this will act as my else, like else condition, right? I will close the bracket. Okay, let me just run this, where the error is, okay, comma. Okay, so now let's check. Yeah. So now, as we can see, basically on a year over year level, we got churn of current year, we got churn of previous year, and we got change as well, right? And that's what we have to basically showcase in this particular problem, right? So yeah, that's all from my side, guys. I hope you got to learn something new from this particular problem statement. Let me know in the comment section if you will be able to solve this using any other method. Cool. So that's all from my side. Thank you, one and all. Have a great day ahead. Bye bye.